Hello everyone, very good afternoon and welcome back to CGBMentors. So in this particular session, we'll be talking about the third part of the April circular and this is going to be the final part, right? So यहाँ पे हम बात करेंगे that what are the clarifications for the cyber security and cyber resilience framework for the SEBI regulated entity. There are certain limits over here that you have to remember, right, in relation to your portfolio managers or your stock exchanges, right, and that is something which is very, very important, right. So hello Ripudaman, for that you should contact the help desk, right, they'll be able to guide you better on it. Now see, objective to ensure cyber security readiness and data protection among all SEBI regulated entities who all are covered over here: stockbroker, depository participants, KYC registration agencies, merchant bankers, venture capitalists, etc., etc. But we have to see some specific entities over here. So let's see this. Number one, 4 categories of the regulated entities. Obviously, if you have got the higher stature, the regulation onto you would be of higher standing as well. So for that, SEBI has made some categories: qualified regulated entity, mid-size, small size, self-certification, exempt, right? Now, full forms are given. Compliance level for qualified regulated entities, it is going to be highest, moderate, basic, minimum and no requirement, that is totally exempt. Now what is the infrastructure requirement? So if you are a qualified regulated entity, you have to comply with the guidelines. Hardware security module should be there. Security operations center would be there. What is security operations center? I'll tell you. Over here, most guidelines is required. Dedicated hardware security module is not mandatory. You can go for the alternative as well. Lighter controls can perform the self-assessment, not required. Basically, right now over here, you don't have to learn this very specifically. What you have to understand is that on whom these requirements are applicable. So let's see this. Number one, categories for the financial year will be fixed on previous year data, very important. Now first we'll talk about stockbrokers. So for stockbrokers we'll see two parameters. हम दो parameter देखेंगे. Number one, how many clients are registered and what is annual trading volume. Let's see this. So if the registered clients are more than 10 lakhs, you will be called as qualified regulated entity. Stockbrokers के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. If the clients are more than 1 lakh up to 10 lakh, then mid-size, more than 10,000, small size, more than 1,000, self-certified, and less than 1,000, then exempt. Similarly, if the trading volume, on the basis of trading volume, if it is greater than 10 lakh crores, you will be called as qualified regulated entity. Between 1 lakh to 10 lakh, you will be called as mid-size. 10,000 to 1 lakh crore, you will be called as small size, and so on. Now, over here, you have to understand, we'll judge a broker on the basis of both these criteria. Suppose a broker is having the trading volume of this level, but client is of this level, 5 lakh clients. So in that case, whichever is the higher threshold, so that broker would be called as mid-size regulated entity. Iska matlab, we'll see the registered clients also, we'll see annual trading volume also. On the basis of both these parameters, whatever would be the higher step in regulation, that would be applicable. That is written over here. Brokers with less than 1,000 clients and less than 1,000 crore turnover, their trading volume, they are not required to comply with these directions. For a depository participant, if the depository participant is also a broker, then he'll follow the broker categorization. If it's a bank, then that would be directly called as a qualified regulated entity. And if this depository participant has less than 100 clients, then they don't have to follow these guidelines. Now, we were talking about that qualified regulated entity has to comply with the SOC. Now, what is this SOC? So, it is Security Operations Center. That means you need to have a centralized unit which will monitor, detect and prevent cyber security threats in real time. if you do not have the capacity to establish an SOC, that means a centralized unit, you can outsource this as well. So it is called as MSOC, that is Market Security Operations Center, where there is a centralized SOC service provided at market level for smaller entities who cannot set up their own SOC, that is a Security Operations Center. Now understand this, if you cannot establish your own cyber security center, you can also outsource it, or you can have this shared facility with one operator who's providing these services to everybody else also, right? So as a qualified regulated entity, you have to establish this. This is mandatory. And what you have to remember is stockbroker related limits, right? Depository participants related limit, and portfolio managers also. So based on assets under management, right? If asset under management is greater than 3,000 crore, portfolio manager would be classified under mid-size regulated entity. If the asset under management is less than 3,000 crore, then self-certification would also be good, right? Portfolio managers who are having less than 100 clients, they are exempted from having this Market Securities Operations Center for tackling the cyber security threat, right? For alternative investment funds and the venture capital funds, this categorization would be at the manager level. That means we will assess the manager, right? Over here, see, if the same manager handles both fund as well as the venture capital fund, combined corpus or the combined capital would be used for getting this category. So if your total fund or total corpus is greater than 10,000 crore, you will be mid-size, 3,000 to 10,000 small size, and lesser than 3,000 is self-certified regulated entity, right? And over here, exemption is provided if there are less than 100 clients. For merchant bankers, you will be called as mid-size if you are involved in IPO, FPO, SME IPO, as well as real estate investment trust or infrastructure investment trust public offers. So you will be called as small size if all other merchant bankers who are not involved in these kind of activity. So for a merchant banker, these categories are based on what kind of functions that they are performing. And for exemptions to the registrar to issue and share transfer agents, if they are having less than 100 clients, they don't have to comply with these directions. These are cybersecurity directions. And with that, we have completed all the necessary circulars for you for the month of April, right? So this is it in this class. Thank you so much for joining in, and I'll hope that you will revise these circulars really well.